Around the SEC this morning is brought to you by 42nd Street. 42sd.com is the website. 865-200-5503 is our telephone number. Hope you're having a great morning. It is the first day of the month here on the Swain event. Not just on the Swain event, I mean, on your calendar too. It's not like you have a different calendar than us, but wow, just time is flying right now. There's a stretch where time was slow. But now I'm speeding up a little bit, hitting September. Tennessee's in full pads. We got a scrimmage coming up soon. Oh, yeah. All right, Ben, what is up around the conference?
We are headed to College Station, West End, and Baton Rouge. This morning, we'll start at Texas A&M, where Texas A&M corner Elijah Blades announced on social media late last night that he will be opting out of the 2020 football season. Blades is the second A&M player to opt out under NCAA guidelines for this season, which allows a player not to play and retain his eligibility for the following season. Quarterback James Foster was the first, but he had previously entered the NCAA transfer portal. The move by Elijah Blades leaves A&M missing a returning starter from part of the 2019 season and with one less body at the position.
What position is this again?
A corner. Blades offered length and athleticism, and this is an article on Gig'em 247.
He was a starter?
Yep, a returning starter. Started part of the 2019 season and was expected to start this season. Has a lot of length, athleticism that A&M lacked to an extent there last year, and now opens up an interesting battle for at least one spot in the lineup. Senior Miles Jones reported to fall camp in the best shape of his career. Doesn't everybody? And the veteran was the favorite to retain the starting spot that he'd held down for most of 2019. Again, that's an article from Gig'em 247. Elijah Blades was not the only opt-out. But before we talk about LSU, because there are several notes that we need to talk about in reference to LSU.
See, it's happening, man.
What?
Angel on one side of my shoulder is like, Swain, you need to be happy for the young man that he's making the best decision for himself, and he's at peace, and you know. But the devil on the other side is like, oh, starting corner. I think we can have some success on his side of the football field, throwing the ball down the field to Josh Palmer and some of these speedy freshmen. See? I hope I ain't the only one. Well, I'll admit it, though. I know you guys probably won't admit it.
Oh, that was my first thought when I saw the news last night. Now, my second thought was, well, how much does it really matter? Because by the time Tennessee and A&M play, theoretically, somebody would have stepped up potentially and be playing.
Oh yeah,
then.
we good. Yeah, we good.
Yeah. So the other thing I have for you before we get to all of the latest news at LSU, Vanderbilt gets an early for what? Vanderbilt, as we know, over the peak quarantine, hired the first African-American female to be their athletic director. And
that's awesome.
Candace Lee Ray.
Yeah, that's big time.
But they have posted a position on its website, and under the responsibilities for the position is called the Deputy Athletics Director for External Affairs and Revenue Generation.
That sounds important.
It does. In the responsibilities for the position, the first bullet point says oversee and direct the external units and functions within the athletics department. Don't you already have somebody that does that?
I mean, listen, Ben, it's Vanderbilt, bro. What it's Vanderbilt athletics? So what you expecting?
That's true, but I thought that was interesting. You already have an athletic director. Now it kind of seems the wording you're asking for another one. But what do I know? Down on the Bayou, Coach O did not have a good Monday. I'll tell you that, because another player has opted out, and that player is Tyler Shelvin, a redshirt sophomore defensive tackle who was expected to start at one of the defensive tackle spots because LSU is one of the few teams running a 4-3 defense with two traditional defensive tackles in the middle of the field. A stud along the defensive line. He has decided to opt out of the 2020 season and prepare for the 2021 NFL Draft. The news comes after wide receiver Jamar Chase decided to opt out on Sunday.
That would be 5 starters returning out of 22.
Yep. And you also had a defensive end, TK McClendon, enter the transfer portal on Monday afternoon. He had been battling for a starting role in Bo Pelini's 4-3 defense, but had been overtaken in camp by others. And to your point about the numbers, Shay Dixon, who covers LSU, tweeted this out, that LSU has had 4 players opt out of the 2020 season, including star players Jamar Chase and Tyler Shelvin. That brings the total to 34 players gone from the national championship team. LSU is sitting at around 70 players on scholarship.
When you look at it that way, Ben, you still feel confident about their chances this season at making a championship run?
Not as confident, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot of attrition for sure.
It's reached the point to where it is a legitimate concern.
Yeah,
and they still have talent, and they'll still be able to win ball games, but beating A&M and Auburn and Bama and beyond just became extremely difficult, much more difficult. And Florida and LSU play every year. Real quick before we get to DR Vol on the phone, I did have one positive LSU note. Their offensive line returned to practice yesterday. So all of their starting offensive linemen who had missed late last week because of COVID-19, when COVID wiped out all but 4 people in their offensive line room, they were all back at practice yesterday, which is obviously a good sign.
Oh, that's a great sign. And there's 2 angels on the shoulders now because we don't play them. 2 angels, one on both shoulders. LSU's not on the schedule, so we can truly be happy, Ben, and not just pretend.
But I am happy about Elijah Blades opting out, so I'm not afraid to admit it. Make it easier for Tennessee. We need Kellen Mond to be the next A&M opt-out.
Go get ready for the draft.
The XFL draft with The Rock.
Hey, man. Folks didn't think Josh Dobbs would get himself drafted. That last year, he balled out.
Poor Josh Dobbs.
And then he had a dang good combine.
Josh Dobbs looking at his skill position players this morning like, what in the world have I gotten myself into? After the Jaguars cut Leonard Fournette yesterday.
I don't know what Josh Dobbs worrying about. He not about to play anytime soon.
Hey, I don't trust Gardner Minshew.
You better collect that check, man. Gardner is the guy for them. So you better collect that check and stay ready. That's all you need to do. Speaking of staying ready, DR Vol's always ready, even though he was on hold for like 30 minutes. DR Vol, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I thought we'd have another commit before I got to talk, so I was doing some research.
We'll see if you were a true,
maybe
good Swain event listener, you would know that we do around the SEC at the bottom of the first hour and not to call in at that point.
Ben has a point there.
This is the only time I have to call because I'm going to go start my boxing lessons in the next hour.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell whether you're being sarcastic or serious.
He's going to work.
We'll leave it at that. Swain, now you got to watch what you say about LSU. Bayou Ben over there. He's going to, attack you. I know he gets a little twinkle in his eye every time he hears Coach O talking like he's got bronchitis.
All right, Dan Wolkenval.
Hey, I'm just saying, man, with that tweet, we ain't there yet. I'm not gonna breathe a sigh of relief until I see us kicking off the South Carolina.
I don't approve of the negativity. For those who are not aware, I tweeted out, "Hey, Tennessee plays football this month," and Dr. Vol, Mr. Negative Nancy, tags old takes exposed. Dr. Vol was on his Dan Wolken this morning.
I've never been blocked by him. That's kind of shocked me because I tweet him a lot.
Me either, man.
My aggressions
well, I was blocked, and then I was unblocked. I think I got blocked because he just blocked everybody that was related to Tennessee. And then I got unblocked. So I think he realized I was cool. But I've extended an invitation. I think he lives in Atlanta. That next time I go to Atlanta, we can hang out. And he hasn't taken me up on that offer.
No, what it is next time he interviews, he wants to make sure you're not going to bully one of his interviewees and switch around his story.
No, man, I was going to take him to Magic City for some chicken wings.
Yeah, I would love to see Dan Wolken down there.
I think that would greatly benefit him.
Negativity and all that as well.
Yeah, he seems a little bit uptight. We'll help him out there.
I think that would help him.
Get chicken wing and help with that. Flats, all day, all flats. It'll make him happy.
So, guys, the hype is building for Hyatt. I'm getting fired up. I saw clips of the old NC State game last night, Justin Hunter and CP. I mean, are we building ourselves up for – because there was a lot of hype behind CP, and to me, he delivered when he got out there and played.
Yeah. Man, CP was a grown man when he got here. Hyatt is very, very mature. He's not a normal freshman. When is the last time we have seen the Tennessee football account tweet preseason hype for a freshman, like national preseason hype for a freshman? I mean, that's pretty significant. And I know it's not like the coach is doing it. It's not like the coach is saying, "Hey, in today's staff meeting, let's tweet out how great of a job Jalen Hyatt is doing and point out that he's a 247 Sports preseason All-American." There's other people involved that are responsible for sending those tweets out. Now, I wonder if they got the green light to send that out, or they just did it anyways. I don't know that, but I mean, Hyatt has not played a snap, and that's a lot of praise, a lot of hype so far. Not saying he don't deserve it. That's not the point. The point is, this is the SEC, and you're going there before he plays a snap. I don't think I've seen like Eric Gilbert promoted that way by LSU, and Eric Gilbert has been tearing folks up day one he stepped on campus. So you just wonder. But he's going to be a baller, and now he'll have another opportunity with D'Angelo Gibbs opting out. He's ready, man. He's turning heads because he's been more of a complete receiver than what people may have expected, and plus he's a 4.28, 4.29 40 guy. So, looking forward to it. And first opponent, South Carolina. Where? South Carolina. Where's Jalen Hyatt from? Dutch Fort, right there in Irmo, which is a suburb of Columbia. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun.
There's one kid that I'm not worried about getting ready or hyped up for a game. It's him, because if Coach Pruitt can't get through to him, then his daddy will for sure.
Oh, yeah. He don't need Coach Pruitt or his daddy. He's going to be ready. Yeah, he's going to be ready.
Yeah, his dad's a good follow. Well, guys, I thought it was cool that y'all had Floyd Mayweather call in beginning of the show.
Are you talking about Andy, talking about Louis Vuittons?
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Andy did ask me if I was still doing my boxing class.
Andy want to see them hands.
You know why? Because Andy's just much nicer than Dr. Vol.
So if y'all went at it, that'd be like a Pacquiao, Mayweather kind of thing?
Yeah, probably.
Which one are you?
The undefeated one.
If Andy and Ben were to box, it would be more like a high school sleepover pillow fight.
How dare you?
Well, I mean, I guess Ben would be Mayweather. He's always backing out of punches. Kind of like he backs out of a
Undefeated is
cake.
the way I
That'd
look
be
at it,
perfect.
D'Arval.
Kind of how you back out of those takes sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm not
he's
Charlie
always
Burst.
backing out of that LSU take.
Hey, facts change, which means opinions change.
Oh man.
Hey, just know I bookmark a lot of those tweets. I do have a bookmark tweet of a Kentucky fan saying how they were going to do something to us radio inappropriate back in February. So I'm looking forward if we can get that W to tweeting that. Last thing before I go, any new news on Albert Haynesworth with his kidneys?
I haven't heard any bad news. Last time I checked,
Okay.
he was doing a lot better. But that's a really good question. I need to check in on him, see how he's doing.
I'm just hoping he can get back to feeling better because I'd really like for him to be able to take over for the social media account for Tennessee. Have a good weekend.
No. No. Hell no. No. That's the last person that needs to be handling Tennessee's tweets is Albert Haynesworth. But it will be funny, though. It will be funny. Well, I guess you have to ask who would it be funny for? Because somebody's going to get offended. Somebody's going to be upset. But it's going to be funny for somebody. Somebody get a laugh, right? 865-255-03. Hour 1 brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Be right back. While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Craving flavors that don't take hours in the kitchen? Mrs. Grissom's cheese spreads and chicken salads are the perfect go-to. Ready-to-eat meals and snacks found in the meat or dairy section at your local grocery store. Whether you crave the classic Mrs. Grissom's pimento cheese or the gluten-free select varieties like the cranberry pecan chicken salad, enjoy small-town flavor in every bite. Select the best. Select Mrs. Grissom's.
Nice boat. Yeah, thanks. And thanks to Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union. See, they want to put me at ease when getting my loan with them. Whether that's purchasing a new or used auto, this boat, camper, or even a motorcycle. Let Alcoa 10 help you on your customer journey. Plus, for a limited time, get 90 days till your first payment and an online-only special low rate of 2.44%.
2.44%? Wow!
Right? Go to atfcu.com for details. Equal housing lender. Alcoa 10. It's a win-win.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com.
Touchdown or Turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Touchdown Turnover, backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong. Better rates and better service. ATFCU.com is our website over there at Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. 3 minutes past the top of the hour. Appreciate Andy's call, Vol Stein's call. Again, congratulations to him on his marriage. And then DR Vol. Big thanks to y'all in hour number one. All right, guys, it's time for touchdown or turnover. Again, that is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, place where you belong, better rates and better service. NBA, my friend, NBA, better Game 7 matchup, Rockets OKC or Denver Utah. Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets square off in Game 7. Also, Chris Paul led the Thunder to a win in Game 6 to force a Game 7. But which game is a better game for you, Ben? So let me ask you this. Touchdown turnover, the Rockets OKC game, better matchup, better game than Jazz Nuggets.
Turnover. For me, it's Jazz and Nuggets. I've been more entertained by that series based off of what Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray is doing. And I think the Nuggets and Jazz are so evenly matched, and maybe this series is proving that the Thunder and Rockets are more evenly matched than we anticipated. But just from an entertainment standpoint, I have been more entertained by Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell and what they're doing. I've enjoyed watching Chris Paul carve up the Rockets. I can't stand the Rockets. James Harden's brand of basketball is so annoying for me to watch personally. I'm not a fan of the dribble into the ground, and then try to draw a foul at the 3-point line. I recognize that James Harden is the best one-on-one scorer in the NBA right now. I recognize that, but he doesn't always do that, is my problem with James Harden. He loves to seek out fouls, and part of that is that NBA refs allow him to do it, and they need to change the rules, in my opinion, to prevent offensive players from lunging into the defender and drawing a foul that way. But that's a different conversation. But I've been more entertained by the Jazz and Nuggets, and me being a huge Memphis Grizzlies fan, obviously I've been tuned in to watch Mike Conley and watch him play. So Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell more entertaining to me than James Harden and Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul, although that storyline, obviously, with Chris Paul coming from the Rockets and Chris Paul not having the best of time with James Harden, and you also have the storyline of Russell Westbrook playing his old team. Very intriguing storyline, but more entertaining Jazz Nuggets for me.
Yeah, I mean, both games will be fantastic, but you can't really go against two guys who guard each other battling it out. They've had 50-point games. They have had stretches where they've scored 15 or more points in a single quarter. Stretches where they go on a streak and not miss a shot for 5 or 10 consecutive shots. I mean, we've seen just great play out of those guys. So I'm going turnover, man, too. I'm going with the Nuggets and the Jazz game just because of those individual matchups. It's going to be fun for sure. 865-255-03. That's our number to the Iris Networks hotline. And Tennessee gets a surprise flip from Jamarion Gooch right here in Seymour, Tennessee, South Knoxville, Kings Academy. You can't say no to Chris Akprogane. You gotta roll with Big Bro. You gotta follow Big Bro, Chris Akprogane, who is in the mix there at the offensive line. Let me not say mix. He's in the program developing, and hopefully by the time this time next year he'll be ready to take a step forward when some of the guys are maybe going on to the NFL. But two players from right there at Kings Academy, and I don't think I would have believed anyone if they said, yeah, man, Tennessee's going to have two players on scholarship. Kings Academy, if you asked me that 5 years ago. So they got it going on over there. Looks like, man. They got a pipeline. To Tennessee.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, after you get one, you can say you have a pipeline. 865-255-03. I like the flip. Now we understand that Jay Hardy was more of a highly rated player. Truly don't know who's going to be a better college player. Only time will tell. In the flip of Jay Hardy definitely stung a lot more for us than it probably stung for Auburn losing Gooch. But it just goes to show you that even in a pandemic, even when a young man is committed somewhere else, even when Tennessee looks like they don't have much room in their recruiting class, you still got to recruit. And Tennessee added some talent there to the roster. Always recruiting. Always. And Tennessee may not be done. Tennessee may go out and get another one this week. Certainly have an opportunity to get another player. So with William Parker announcing on Friday.
And he's another recruit that if Tennessee is able to land, you look at him the same way you look at Jamarion Gooch in terms of the ranking. Don't let the ranking fool you. Alabama legitimately wants William Parker. The problem is they've signed like 10 million five-star offensive linemen this recruiting cycle.
I wonder when we're going to look at a player that Tennessee gets commitment from and be like, what are we doing? I don't see it. Because it's going to, I mean, come on now. It's going to happen. We may not say it out loud. Like, we obviously trust what Tennessee's doing from an evaluation standpoint, but come on now. Let's not be sheep here and sit here and say that every single time Tennessee gets commitment, you don't at least go and look at who else he's been offered by and go, what are we doing? What are we doing? But I think when you develop a track record of development, you're not worried, you're not panicking, but you still ask yourself like, yo, are we really first? What's going on? What do they see? So the thing with William Parker is, like you just mentioned, man, Alabama offer.
A legitimate Alabama offer. There were players that Butch Jones brought in during his tenure that appeared to have Alabama offers. Their 247 profile said that Alabama offered them, but they weren't committable offers. And maybe this one isn't the case with William Parker, but if that is the case, it's not because Alabama doesn't like William Parker. It's because, again, Alabama is on the verge of literally signing the greatest offensive line class in the history of recruiting.
Yeah, it's looking like it, man. It's certainly looking like it.
That's all I need to say. That's what I'm saying when I bring up the recruiting rankings this morning and saying don't let that dictate how you feel about Jamarion Gooch and if Tennessee is able to land William Parker on Friday. They're 3 stars. William Parker's in the 450 range overall in the country. Jamarion Gooch is in the upper 700s. But look at the coaching staffs that legitimately want those guys. I think that speaks for itself more so than the recruiting ranking, especially when you consider that Jamarion Gooch was not able to attend camps this summer and was not able to attend a ton of camps last summer. One of the camps he does go to is the Auburn camp, and he impresses the coaches so much to the point to where he gets an offer. And we can joke about why quarterbacks want to go play for the Gus Bus there in Auburn. We can joke about receivers going down there and playing football for Gus. But Gus has a strong track record with offensive linemen during his time at Auburn, has developed many all-SEC offensive linemen and put all of those guys that obviously were all-SEC players into the league as well.
Yeah, one of my high school teammates played offensive line for Auburn.
Would that have been
Tuberville? No.
Who was between Tuberville and Chiswick? Was there one in between?
No. Wait. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Why are you asking me? You're supposed to know that, Ben.
I know I'm all Ben. Nope, there was not. I did not realize Tommy Tuberville was at Auburn all the way up until 2008. I thought he had left around 05, 06.
No, he wouldn't have left after the undefeated season in 04.
Well, knowing him, he might have left in the middle of the night for
a
bigger job.
He got fired. Yeah, he got like kind of like ran off there, and then when he left Texas Tech. So my high school teammate played at Auburn from 04 to 08. So he went in there, I guess, right after they went out and won that SEC championship game, went undefeated, and didn't win. So I know you got one player from Buckhorn that played SEC football, but who else?
2 players.
Who else? Who?
2 players. Will Ignat played SEC football.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Buckhorn.
Kari.
So Vanderbilt.
Technically, we had 3. Buckhorn had a young man play defensive line for Kentucky, signed with Kentucky a couple of years back and only played for 1 year. And then he was actually on Last Chance U out at Independence.
I don't think you should be bragging about that, Ben.
Well, I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying that there was a third, just did not necessarily work out. And I think he's at, I can't remember where he ended up, maybe Murray State. But we did have a third. How many did you have, Swain? Huh?
On my squad, so guys I played with, we had one that went to Kentucky, and then
Is he the coach?
Yeah, he's a linebacker coach now at Kentucky, and then on at Auburn. That's it as far as SEC schools. So 3 of us, but hey, man, you guys got the guy that probably lasts the longest in the NFL. So I'll shut my mouth and mind my business. How about that?
Buckhorn and Grissom aren't necessarily the football factory.
No, man, that's why I'm totally joking here.
Grissom was good when you were there, but
That's
like
about it.
the Grissom that I knew when I was in high school was butt booty terrible at football.
Yeah. That's the Grissom I knew before I got there.
Which has also been what Buckhorn has mostly been.
Yeah. So, anyways, I had a high school teammate that played offensive line for Auburn. Actually, was a starter. So, it just wasn't on the team. He was dang good, and big old boy too. But he grew up as an Auburn fan, so it was an easy pickup for Auburn. 865-255-03 is our telephone number to the Iris Networks hotline. I want to take a look at the text box. Ben, you already doing it. You already own it. Anything good over there?
Cashville Vol says that stargazers are the only ones that get upset over the rating. I'm just glad to see we are adding beef on the line, unlike what Butch was doing. Rod Lowe says, does that help us with Mims? Too crowded of a room. If Amarius Mims wants to come to Tennessee, there will be room.
Yeah,
there will be room.
You'll make it happen. And Tennessee's in the top 2 for him. So surprised Alabama's not in the top 2 right now. But you just never know. You just never know what Bama. They'll be probably hiding in the weeds, and they'll have a chance. I'll never forget that he said that Alabama was his childhood, favorite team growing up. Last time I checked, I mean, when he's 18, he's technically a man, but he's not too far away from being a child. So did he just totally flip his love affair for Alabama? I don't know, but
Rod Lowe has come back with a note. He was talking in reference to a crowded room at Alabama. That is actually a great question. You would think no, but you look at the guys that Alabama has brought in. I don't know. Surely they would make room for him.
Well, Alabama is the one school that I can see turning him down if they feel like somebody is better and they have enough room.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've brought in like 5 of him already.
Yeah, I mean Georgia would take him anyways, even if they had room, and like Kirby would just do it just because the recruiting ranking. I think that stuff matters to him. The perception matters to him a lot. Why do I think that? Because remember, he's the coach that responded when Georgia Tech was using Atlanta in recruiting, and they tried to use Atlanta in recruiting too. You're not in Atlanta, man. You in Athens, okay? So I think Kirby cares about perception. He cares about those things. I think he'll try to go out and get Marius Mims if there's a need or not a need there at offensive line. So
Alabama currently has the number 2 overall recruiting class in the country. Number 1 is Ohio State. So Alabama has the best recruiting class in the SEC. 20 commits. Their top 2 commitments, offensive tackle, Tommy Brockmeyer, offensive tackle, the number 1 offensive tackle in the country, number 5 overall player in the country, and then J.C. Latham is the other offensive tackle, 5-star, the number 3 offensive tackle in the country. So you look at the top of Alabama's recruiting class, and the 2 arguably best players at the position that Amarius Mims plays. Is Alabama going to bring in 3 offensive tackles? And I obviously don't know what Alabama's plans are for Tommy Brockmeyer and J.C. Latham in terms of if they see them sticking at tackle, but both guys are 6'6".
Brockmeyer, his name says football. His name and size says offensive lineman all day long.
Well, what's crazy about him is he is a Texas legacy and is from Fort Worth, Texas. And even with all that, Alabama was able to go in and steal him from Texas. There's actually 2 Brockmeyers in the class, a Tommy Brockmeyer and a James Brockmeyer. James Brockmeyer is a 4-star offensive lineman and the number 1 center in the country. And they're both, I believe, their dad played for Texas. They were supposed to go to Texas. Texas fans were hot when they picked Alabama over Texas. Live in the state of Texas. Daddy played there. And both of them, the number 1 center, the number 1 offensive tackle in the country, is going to Alabama. So I think you have to expect that has to play somewhat of a role with a marriage Mims, right?
Maybe. Brad on the text box asked about 2 players potentially opting out and asked, have you all heard? And I don't want to just ignore the message from Brad, but at the same time, I just don't feel comfortable throwing guys' names out on the radio that are thinking about whether or not they want to play. I just don't think it's fair. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion. Something like this is like if someone was thinking about transferring and they're in a transfer portal, okay, but like this, I think this is pretty serious. Where when that decision is made, okay, then you put that decision out. But the last thing I would want is folks trying to provide commentary and sharing their opinions to a player on social media that they found out was thinking about not playing. It's one thing if you are a Florida player and you tweet, yeah, I don't know if I want to play or not. And then, okay, like you've pretty much welcomed all the comments you're about to get on people telling you what you should do with your life and what's in your best interest. But to hear it, I just don't feel comfortable speaking on that. I just don't feel right. And so I'm a guy that goes by the gut, and I've been right more times than not when it comes to stuff like this on the radio. And I'll let somebody else be right and be better at this on this one, but I just don't feel comfortable because if it never gets out and the person decides to play, then it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. But if it gets out that he's thinking about it, I don't see any benefits of that being public because we understand how fans are going to react. So
Jeremy Pruitt will speak to the media this evening following practice. So I imagine if there is smoke with that fire, we had multiple people asking us on the text box because another radio show in town put that out there. Mentioned it. So definitely understand the questions. We are intrigued by the possibility as well. But Jeremy Pruitt will speak to the media this evening, and I imagine he will update the status of those 2 players if that were to come to fruition. Yeah,
I mean, I guess the only thing I would say is, hey, they're 2 defensive players, and it can be problematic depending on how you look at it. So we'll wait for that. From Pruitt today, 865-255-03. Got some other good stuff here on the text box. Stay with us. Be right back.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? A true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
At Hiller, we care about your family's comfort all year long. If you get caught without air conditioning this summer, we're offering a free service call with any repair. That's a free service call when we do the work on your HVAC system. Visit happyhiller.com to schedule your appointment today.
Call the happy face truck today.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Homes, remind yourself, nobody built like you design yourself.
Attaboy. Attaboy is brought to you by Made in Tennessee Business Fiber Internet from Iris Networks. Find business solutions for you at irisnetworksusa.com.
All right, folks, it is time for Attaboy here on the program. Attaboy is brought to you by Iris Networks, USA.com. Iris Networks, 90 days, no payment for business internet, affordable, high-quality business internet, fiber, and voice. Iris Networks, USA.com. Today's Attaboy goes to the University of Tennessee football department. I spoke about how things have gotten a whole lot better, but we still got a ways to go to catch up with some of the other big boys, teams that you see competing for national championships and recruiting at a high level. The VFL program was a great move years and years ago, but it left a lot to be desired, had a lot of open holes of how to truly maximize that program. We saw at the beginning when Derek Dooley was a coach some good things. We saw some good things with the previous head coach, but more of it was PR rather than doing the work itself and really providing value to former players and current players. But it made us all feel good inside, right? Made us all feel good. We feel good inside because you see that shield and you see those 3 letters, but still wasn't doing enough. Jeremy Pruitt gets here and got feedback. Got feedback on what can be better. He talked to former players. He looked around the country, saw what other programs were doing, why they were successful. There's no reason not to copy what other people are doing, right? But you have the VFL program. You have a brand, but you just kind of add what some of the other programs are doing, what we should have been doing, that we've done here and there, but not as much as we need to do. But that's all changed. Now, I mentioned that feedback has been given to this regime over the last couple of years. And I can tell you that, yeah, I've offered feedback as well. I'm not the only person. There's been so many folks that have offered feedback. And with that feedback from everyone, with Pruitt being a coach that is willing to adapt, that listens to folks, and is not stubborn to make changes or do things one way and then change it for the betterment of his program, he's willing to do that. And VF Flight, I guess that's how you say it. I'm going with V-Flight. V-Flight is a program. And the basis of it is we have so many former players that have played at the University of Tennessee that are spread out around the world, around the country. And they are former players that are different lines of work. You have presidents of businesses, you have owners of businesses, you have recruiters for certain companies, and you understand after you get your college degree and you're looking for your first job, and you get your first job, and after a couple of years you realize that, man, all this hard work, you realize that, man, it's really, the work is good and it's important to have the degree, but it's really about who you know. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, playing at Tennessee is an honor in itself, but the opportunity to be connected to not only Vol fans, but guys that play before you that can set you up, make a phone call for you. We just turned the light switch on with this program. That's what we did. We've done it in the past. We've done it in the past. You know, we got some guys that are in the pharmaceutical business, and somebody was put on. I remember Stephen Pearl was a pharmaceutical rep, and somebody put him on. We've seen that. So it's been going on. But we just flipped the switch with this program. The light bulb has always been intact, but we just flipped the switch, and I'll add a little bit more context. I don't think it'd be a problem. I think this would actually be good to share. But there was a Zoom call with all of the VFLs. I mean, all of them were invited. And it was basically a virtual meet and greet, so to speak, with everybody. I remember in 2013, and this is probably one of the best things Butch Jones did when he was here, is he wanted to meet face-to-face with all the former players and was able to basically do that like in the first week or so. And I remember when Carl Pickens drove up from Atlanta. I remember TK being there, TK Sr., and asking a question about his approach in recruiting. And Butch didn't even know that his son was an up-and-coming college football player. And I remember Butch addressing the former players. And at that moment, the former players were bought in at that moment. We understand that Butch is a good salesman, right? And he sold the former players off that meeting. And you had that support right then. Well, with Coach Pruitt was a guy that was all about ball, hit the ground running, ball, recruit, and understand he's evolved. Like, he's evolved as a head coach, understanding that you have other duties, especially here in Tennessee, being in the fishbowl. You know, talking to the media, going to this function, all those things. And he's gotten a whole lot better at that. But this was really the first time that he addressed all the former players, and he did it in a virtual because obviously COVID, right? And now we have flipped the switch with the VFL program. It's not only a cool thing to say, but now we've added something that will help. Number one, the most important thing, will help our players. So that's the first thing. Does it look good? Yeah, it looks good. Will it help in recruiting? Yeah, but you don't do that just for it to look good in recruiting. You do it for our players first, who are currently on the team. And then how successful we are with our players will automatically help in recruiting, because you'll have examples to point to. So this program, this is awesome, and this is why I was so excited about Ashley Smith taking over, because she brings a level of creativity. She's been in this role on the administrative side, with organization. She also understands the football component of it, because she's worked with athletes in different sports. Of course, she has a lot of insight because of her brother went up the ranks as a high school player to a top high school player, and now he's one of the top players in the country. So, man, she has so much to offer. And the moment I found out that she's going to be taking over before it was released, I immediately thought about a young Judy Jackson. Young Judy Jackson. I see it. Like, I see that in her. And that's a big comparison. Those are huge shoes to fill, because Miss J was the best, and a huge reason why Tennessee was successful during the 90s and in the early 2000s. But this is where it's at. This is the move that Tennessee needed to make in their quest to get over the hump. See, what y'all see and what the public sees is the recruiting rankings and the results on the football field. And you may not understand how something like this is what turned the switch on the football program, what takes them from point A to point B. Because there's another program that's similar, that's doing this already. they're doing it better than anybody. And if I mention those two programs, you'd be like, oh, well, of course, right? Look what they're doing every year. Of course. I'm not going to mention them because I ain't recruiting for y'all today. Y'all don't need my help to help you recruit.
You think Louis Vuitton is listening right now?
I don't think Louis Vuitton's listening.
Aluba.
I don't think he's listening. He might try to go to one of these two schools. So they don't need any help recruiting, but everyone wants to do something like this. Everyone talks about doing something like this. We've been talking about something like this amongst ourselves as VFLs, former players. We've been talking about this for years. Years, even before the VFL program was created. We've been talking about this for over a decade, probably even more. The guys that played before me, they probably were talking about it before I was talking about it. But you're actually doing it. It's like, hey, man, how cool would it be to have a phone and be able to carry it around with you anywhere you went? We'll call it a cell phone. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, cell phone. Yeah, man. Man, that would be cool. Somebody would make one of those things. Yeah, then a couple years later, first cell phone. Look, I mean, it was like the size of one of those brick by bricks. They call it the Zach Morris phone, right? Big old antenna on the top. There's no way you're putting that thing in your pocket. Like, those phones came with like a big old bag. It had a shoulder strap. No, man. You ain't putting that in your pocket. But the idea has to come from somewhere. They got to come from somewhere. Or how about instead of like physical mail, what if you were able to get mail but electronically? Oh yeah, so you pass information to someone without having to write them a letter and lick on a stamp, all that stuff. But what if you can just send a message to someone without all that? Oh, email. Like all these things that we have like now that we take for granted, it's just a part of our everyday life. It wasn't a thing at one point, and it was just an idea for a very, very long time until someone just did it. Well, this is the same thing. Finally. So big props to Pruitt, big props to Coach Fulmer, big props to Ashley Smith and everybody else involved in doing it. Making it a program with clear objectives. There's no confusion on what the goal is of this program. Because honestly, if I asked you what the VFL program was a year ago, could you really answer what we did?
Not publicly.
I couldn't, and I'm a VFL.
Yeah, the VFL program, I can't speak to what it really was under Derek Dooley. You can. But
I don't know.
Well, let me rephrase it. You can speak to it more than I can, just because I wasn't following Tennessee football that in depth. I was aware that the VFL program existed under Dooley, but I was not in the position that I am now. Under Butch used the VFL coordinator like he did recruiting rankings, and like you talked about earlier with Kirby Smart and recruiting rankings, he used it as an appearance, as a gimmick to come off as he was doing good by the former players.
It was for recruiting, man.
Yes.
Recruiting purposes.
When in reality, it was just a label. He wasn't actually doing anything with it. Now we're actually doing something with the VFL program.
Yeah, it's like coming up with a nonprofit organization where, all right, your intention is to help people. But okay, like what are you really doing? You got a cool logo and a cool mission statement, but like what is the clear goal? Like when someone goes to your website, do they know exactly who you are helping and how you do it? Well, there's no confusion about what the VFL program is with V-Flight. V-Flight. Why V-Flight? Well, we'll share what it means coming up here on the Swain event. Be right back.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Have you been considering buying or selling a home this year and unsure how to start the process, who to talk with, and if it's the right time? If so, then call me, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. I'll be happy to help you move forward in the best direction that suits your needs and hope to hear from you soon.
Nice boat.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks to Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union. See, they want to put me at ease when getting my loan with them. Whether that's purchasing a new or used auto, this boat, camper, or even a motorcycle. Let Alcoa 10 help you on your customer journey. Plus, for a limited time, get 90 days till your first payment and an online-only special low rate of 2.44%.
2.44%? Wow.
Right? Go to atfcu.com for details. Equal housing lender. Alcoa 10. It's a win-win.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work-from-anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
There are articles and news stories that you read about the things that people do. And when you're reading...
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
The name of the game, college football, especially in the SEC, if you're going to be winning at a high level, it's about development. It's about development. You can recruit all day long, but you better develop. You better develop. And it's more than just developing physically. Like, you really got to care for the player. The days of just getting guys, getting a bunch of really good players and not really having a personal relationship with them and not coming across like you actually talk to your players, those days are over. You could do that back in the day. You can't do that now because you got to build a relationship in recruiting. Like, think about it. Years ago, like, I talked to Coach Fulmer, I mean, rarely in my recruitment. Not like recruits talk to the coaches now.
Not what you would expect.
No, man.
Even now, like Jeremy Pruitt is a great recruiter, but he kind of comes in and seals the deal.
Yeah, but I think players are talking to head coaches way more now than.
Think so?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, man. Definitely. They are involved earlier in the process, man. Absolutely. Because you have to. This is what happens. When your competitors do something that's different than the status quo, what what's considered different now becomes status quo.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. So remember when you can point out the teams that were bending the rules a little bit. And we saw the Pony Express, the documentary on SMU. It's like, oh my gosh, look at that program and this program. And you can like point out a few. But what happened was there was a school that just bent the rules a whole lot better than everybody else. And found ways to get around, found ways to take advantage of loopholes. And I ain't gonna mention the school. I'm sure y'all can figure it out.
They're still doing it.
you can figure it out. But really started winning a lot. And everyone in the country is like, yo, if we don't do it, we are not gonna win. And I don't care where your morals are, where your values are as a coach. If you want to coach, you better start doing some of those things. You better start doing it. Well, now it's the status quo. Like when you hear of somebody getting extra benefits, what's your reaction now versus your reaction 10 years ago? 10 years ago, you're like, what? Really? I can't believe it. Now you're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. Because you know it happens everywhere, all the time. And like if you're not getting close to that line, you ain't going to win. Simple as that. Simple as that. So what's happened is you've had some programs go beyond. They didn't do the status quo. And we're talking about this program. That's the overall point here. We're breaking it down a couple levels. Give you examples of when there's a consensus way of doing things, college football landscape, and then one person changes the game. I'll give you another one, Ben. Your favorite, Ben. When that one school said, hey, recruit, I want you to come on campus and we want you to try on our uniform.
Yeah.
Who in the hell started that? I hate you.
Probably Butch Jones.
No, it wasn't Butch Jones. Butch Jones never starts anything. He always follows somebody else and tries to makes it his own.
That's a fair point.
But somebody said, hey, recruit, our uniform is so prestigious. Our university and program is so prestigious. Legends have played here. You got to earn the opportunity to play here. And you can do it with your athletic ability. We think you're a great young man. This is so prestigious. But here, you can put it on right now, whatever. Just go ahead.
Ridiculous.
Hey, Dad, you want to put one on too? Hey, Dad, go ahead, whatever. Who cares? Whatever. Just put it on. Who cares? Whatever it takes to get you. Oh, yeah, but our uniform is still prestigious. Now, don't forget about that. It's still prestigious. It's still prestigious. That power T. But here, go ahead, put it on, whatever. Somebody started that first. It wasn't in Tennessee, but some school out there said, yo, we got to do something different because this school over here and these schools over here, man, they're out recruiting us, doing it one way. We have to reinvent the wheel. We got to be creative. We're going to let recruits start wearing uniforms. And guess what happened? Bloosh. Everyone does it. Somebody started sending players edits of themselves, graphic designs of themselves. It wasn't Joker Phillips. Maybe he tried to do it.
He definitely tried. Did not work in his favor.
Maybe he was the first one that tried to do it. It was just so terrible. And someone was like, hey, that's a pretty good idea. The execution is terrible, but that's a good idea. So we'll really get on, Adobe or Photoshop or Illustrator, whatever you call it, and we'll make a really good flyer, a really good graphic for these kids. Thanks for the idea, Joker Phillips. What's your terrible MS Paint program you're using to create that graphic? But you can't tweet about a kid. You don't have a chance to recruit a kid if you don't have a graphic. You better have an edit.
You know what's been on Twitter this morning?
What's that?
Edits.
Man,
graphics. You know why? Because September 1st marks the first day that coaches can start contacting 2022 players. Go look at Dallin Hayden's timeline right now.
Man.
Ohio State, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, school after school after school sending an edit to Dallin Hayden. And I think if I were a high school, like if I were Dallin Hayden and I was speaking with a school before September 1st and they didn't send me a graphic and everybody else did, I would low-key wonder, why didn't you send me one? These other schools are going out of their way to show me love. Why didn't you?
And I just hope, I wouldn't be so immature to really care about that much, because that might be the place for me. But I'm letting something so stupid impact my decision. I hope I would have done that, but an edit is a prerequisite to contacting recruits.
Correct.
If you don't have an edit, you're wasting your time.
Yep.
You're wasting your time. Remember back in the day when first day of class you would take a teacher at Apple? That used to be a thing. You take the teacher at Apple the first day of school. Ain't nobody giving a teacher no damn Apple today.
I never did that.
They ain't doing it. Or when you show up at somebody's house for dinner, they invite you. You got to bring a bottle of wine. You got to bring something. That's a prerequisite. You got to do that. You got to do it. You better have an edit if you're gonna call a recruit. You better have it. You better have it on deck. No doubt about it. You better have it on deck. Those are examples how someone decided to think outside the box, and the outside the box move at one point is now status quo. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. Not yet with this program, though. Not yet. V-Flight. Are there other programs doing something like this? Absolutely. But not everyone is able to do something like this. Not everyone has the ability that Tennessee has. Swain event, hour 3 coming up.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Guys, Low T Center is open for normal business hours, including Saturdays. Their goal is to help you be the best and healthiest version of you. And right now, if you are concerned with social distancing, Low T Center can help with at-home treatment options for current patients. And they also have great options for new patients too. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy to take care of your health. Most health insurance is accepted. They'll even help verify it for you. And just a reminder, if you're feeling bad, have a fever, or travel to high-risk areas, please stay home. If you'd like to learn more about getting a comprehensive health assessment, be sure to call 865-392-1388. That's 865-392-1388. Or you can schedule an appointment online at lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Do you want a custom-themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Then look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. All of their bottles and tumblers are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the tumbler market. New this year are their stemless 12-ounce tumblers, perfect for repping your team while enjoying your favorite wine. They also have new 3-in-1 jackets to use as a koozie for a can or bottle, or you can pop a lid on it and use it as a 12-ounce tumbler or coffee cup. Be sure to check out everything Game Time Sidekicks has to offer. Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Don't you love technology? Don't you love it? Ben McKee, Jason Swain here. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Hiller. It is September, folks. They are celebrating their 30th anniversary this September with special deals for customers. These deals include $300 off new tankless water heaters. And for each purchase, Hiller is donating $30 to the Raleigh Foundation for Childhood Cancer Research. Very important. $300 off tankless water heaters. And Hiller is taking proceeds from that purchase to benefit young kids with cancer research. Super, super, super important. 30% off heating tune-ups, so make sure your system is working properly and prepared for the cold weather hits coming up this winter. Also 30% off whole home surge protections. So very, very important to keep your electronics safe during power outages and storms. That is Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. HappyHiller.com. Austin Price is set to join us here next break. Looking forward to talking to Austin about the real Gucci man, Jermaine Gooch. That's right. The real Gucci man.
Golly. That's terrible.
You can take that. You can use it.
I'm not going to.
You can take it, man. You can take it. I give you permission, man. I'm not gonna be crying about getting recognition with somebody else if you say it.
The Gooch man.
The Gooch, yeah, the Gooch man. Or the real Gucci man.
The real Gucci man.
Oh man. So we're talking about this V-Fight program, and there's not a lot of programs in America that can do it. There are some programs who are doing it, calling it something different. But how many times have we gotten phone calls from listeners all over the country, and they've told us stories about how they saw another Vol fan. Hey, I'm down here at the beach. Man, saw a Vol fan down here. Gave him a go Vols. We everywhere. And there's connections that we need to take advantage of for our players. These players understand more now than ever that you better have a plan B. And they're building their brands. They're smart about that. They're smart about networking. And so you better meet the needs of these players. The last thing you want is for them to come through your program 4 years, and a couple years after they've played, you look at their situation, and it doesn't even look like they play college football at a place like Tennessee. Like, you should know. 5 years later, after a player plays at Tennessee, he should be okay. I ain't saying rich, but he should be okay. He shouldn't have to work at certain places. And I don't want to use examples because I don't want anybody to think it's bad or anything, because, hey, we all find ourselves at different stages of our lives. I remember I was on Vienna sausages back in the day and Spam and getting food stamps. But you should be connected and be able to win after football is over because you played Tennessee. That's my point. Let's go to
you should have Tennessee football player privilege.
That's right. That you earned.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't forget that part, because a lot of folks like to complain, oh, man, football players get privilege. Dude, they earn that every single day.
I don't know about that. I think there are some players who did not earn much of anything during their playing days and don't deserve as much privilege as the ones who are scoring touchdowns and winning games. If you come in as a 4-star linebacker and only wear a uniform like these recruits for 4 years, you don't deserve the same privilege as a Derek Barnett.
Well, that's different privilege, but you still have privilege, and you earned that because you put in the work.
I think some should be taken away. JUCO offensive tackles who are supposed to come in and do something should not receive the privilege.
They get privilege too, man. They put the work in. You have to put work in to be a college football player. You're not born with that. There's some folks that are born with the privilege. They're born on third base. You're not born on third base playing football at Tennessee. You put work in at some point, because there's no way you get a scholarship anywhere if you didn't put the work in.
Unless Coach Jones is the head coach.
So football privilege, that's earned, every single bit of it. Now, there's a different level of that based on how successful you are, but certainly all privilege in football is earned. Don't get that twisted at all. 865-255-03. Let's get to our guy, Buck Nasty. Buck Nasty.
What's going on, Swaino?
Buck Nasty.
Ben out here throwing shade at J.J. Peterson, ain't he?
Nope. Shout out to Dylan Bates.
Ben feels like the players personally attack him when they don't come in here and perform.
Dominic Wood Anderson doesn't deserve the privilege after he let me down last year.
Yeah.
Say it louder for the folks in the back.
It's y'all's fault for hyping these dudes up before they do anything, and now y'all disappointed. You gotta wait till they do something, then you bring the hype. Now you all salty.
Jonathan Kongbo does not deserve a free ice cream shop just because he played at Tennessee.
Hey, in Knoxville, not anywhere else. I mean,
you want to talk about earning something.
Or, Tennessee.
Earning a little respect. Old Pruitt, son, he doesn't do nothing but dip and murder Auburn, and he's all out of dip.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. The only little win Auburn's had over Pruitt is with Jay Hardy. That's it. But now you're right, because the most important thing is that W down there in 2018.
You think you can ask Austin what flavor he dips? Is it Skoal? Is it Copenhagen? Straight cut? Original? What does he do? Ask Austin that question. See if he can get us the glaring details on that.
Pruitt dips? I didn't even catch that.
Do you have a preference, Buck Nasty? What is your favorite flavor?
I always like Copenhagen straight when I did dip, or when I do dip occasionally.
I don't dip, but I love the smell of the wintergreen.
I hate wintergreen. I hate wintergreen chewing gum, wintergreen dip. I hate it almost as much as I hate Will Muschamp, which is a lot.
I'm sorry.
By the way, while y'all got Austin on the phone, ask him how much back child support does Pruitt owe Auburn for being their daddy. Well, the man's going to have to get a raise.
Man, he's having success against Auburn, man. You got to keep it up. No, Owen Papo lost that one. Yeah, lost that one too.
Yeah, he ain't doing nothing.
I mean, he started as true freshman. He's good.
Yeah, he started, but he didn't do a lot.
I am all
I may
Ben.
be
Don't
showing
test
my
me.
favoritism here a little.
Yeah.
Talking out the left side of my face.
Don't make the all Ben come out, Buck Nasty.
No, I'm not going to let it get to that extent. I can't do it. You take it easy up there, Ben State. Well, boys, I won't hold you up. I just thought I could see if you could squeeze in those questions to ask Austin here in a little bit. I'll hang up and see what y'all got to say.
Who's asking Austin that, me or you?
You.
What am I asking him again?
You have a
like I'm seriously supposed to ask Austin that?
not seriously. You can bring it up in a joking manner, like you typically do
Like
with
that,
a question at the beginning.
Ask Austin, does Pruitt owe child support for being Auburn's daddy?
I'm more interested to know what kind of dip he tips.
You may ask him that. Or I think I'm going to ask Austin Price about this Jay Graham tweet from yesterday. Ooh, the shade.
You love to see it.
Cannot be denied here. The shade. When did Jay Graham get so savage? When did this happen? I don't remember this Jay Graham. This is not the Jay Graham I know. What? Wait. What did Jimbo Fisher do to Jay Graham? Or maybe it's Pruitt. Jay Graham is a savage. My goodness, the guy I know was, he was around when his GA, working with the running backs for Coach Trooper Taylor, and I mean, just always super nice and modest and humble, and man, never bragged or never boasted about anything. This is savage. I like this Jay Graham. Can we have more of this Jay Graham, please? With the side of Ron Niedermeyer being savage too. I like this. Who else can be savage on this staff? I love the shade. Keep it up. It's been too sunny this summer. Bring more shade.
We need Jim Chaney shade.
Does he have Twitter?
Yes.
Yes. That's a good idea, Ben. Let's get to a break and let's bring on Austin Price coming up next.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtscenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Jason Swain here. If you're feeling tired and grumpy, it could be low T or something else like sleep apnea. Low T Center now provides an easy and convenient home sleep test shipped to your home in little as 2 days and receive a CPAP device in little as 4 days. It's never been faster or easier to get tested, and most health insurance is accepted. Now is a great time to take care of yourself while you're being quarantined without sports. To order your sleep test online, just go to lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 888-599-3799.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
And you know this, man.
SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue here on the program. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Joining us via the Iris Networks hotline, it is Austin Price, VolQuest.com at Austin Priceless. His time is brought to you by Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty Group, 865-257-7897. Austin, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jason Swain. How are you?
I'm good, man. Now, this may be your intro to the Swain Event. I mean, it's a bad A intro.
The original show that played this intro, Austin Price.
What's that?
The original place where this intro came into form.
The original place?
I believe so.
Is there another show that plays this song every time you come on the show?
Yeah, Midday 180 in Nashville on 104.5.
Well, dang. Well, we played. Well, dang, never mind. Anyways, like I was gonna say, this may be your intro, Austin.
Do you want to Jim Carrey roll it back from Ace Ventura?
No, we're good. We just keep it flowing, keep it going.
Okay, I gave you a chance to make a funny there, Jason, and you just couldn't do it. The people at home love some Ace Ventura.
Oh, it's a classic, man. It's a classic. It is, but I don't want to get thrown off again. So, this is your intro, but Coach Pruitt really reminds me of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, come on now.
Because of the bald head.
Come on, man. Bald head. You know, he's knocked back a few beers, man. You know,
for this year with no team running through the tee, I think Tennessee should come out to Stone Cold music.
Yes, man. That's right, man. And the way Pruitt has been, treating Auburn lately, man, just on the field, 2018, did lose a battle there with Jay Hardy, and he lost a battle there with linebacker out there from Grayson.
Oh, and Papo.
Papo. You did lose that, but man, I mean, big time flip. It wasn't like these guys were committed to Tennessee and flipped to Auburn. This guy was committed to Auburn and flipped to Tennessee. But first, let me go ahead and get this out the way, Austin, while it's fresh in my mind. We had a caller, Butt Nasty, that wanted you to tell us what flavor of dip that Jeremy Pruitt prefers. Do you know that answer? Because I didn't know he dipped.
I have no idea.
I didn't know he dipped. I thought he was talking about dancing, but that's just something that's totally out of my realm. That's not my world. I have no idea about dip and all that stuff. So you don't know. We can move on. The interview can move on because I was afraid that was going to stop us. So
I have no idea.
Austin, Jermaine Gooch flipped yesterday, announced that. Why now? I mean, Auburn looks like they got some things going on there with the offensive line, got some good players, established with Gus Malzahn. Why? Why flip?
I think Tennessee just did a really nice job of selling him on being able to stay home, having spent time with Jay out there at Kings Academy yesterday, having spent time with the head coach Jonathan Sellers yesterday. I think Jay has kind of been feeling that way for a while, and then last week for their first home game, his grandmother and brother were able to come up to the game, and I think that he really just kind of enjoyed the fact that it was easy for them to come and make that drive from right around the Nashville area over to see him play, and I think that it was just something that he felt like he needed to do, and he talked about that with me yesterday, not super extensively, but just said, made the decision for his people, what was best for his people, which were his grandmother and his brother.
What do you think the difference was between August 31st and April 17th when he committed to Auburn? What was the difference for Tennessee?
Well, I think Tennessee never stopped their pursuit of him. And, he mentioned yesterday when he committed to Auburn, a lot of schools backed off, and Tennessee never did. And I remember when it happened, I think Tennessee told him, we're not going away. We're going to continue to recruit you the way we've been recruiting you, and even up our game even more. And they did that, and I think that won him over as well.
That's kind of reminds me of, you, Austin. The moment you got married, I'm pretty sure there was, everybody come out of the woodworks. Like, no, Austin, no, pick me, I wanted you, no. I mean, I'll bet you had to let him down real gentle, Austin. I bet that was a tough moment.
We've had weird segments during our time together, Jason, but this by far right now is taking the cake.
Austin, we have a relationship, man. I feel like I can talk to you about these things.
I mean, what are you even talking about, Jason?
I'm talking about commitment and being persistent. Tennessee was persistent with Gooch, and I'm saying that you had all your high school flings the moment that you got married was probably still trying to be persistent like Tennessee was. Come on, Austin.
Importantly, let's focus on Jay Marion.
You had to let him down. That's okay. You're not gonna get in trouble for saying that, Austin.
Yeah, I mean, for Jay, I just think that at the end of the day, he sat down and talked about it with his family. He sat down and talked about it with his coaches, his mentors, and Tennessee just it felt right. I think it probably felt right to begin with, but the flavor of the week was Auburn, and they had done a really good job with him. And Tennessee, is in a really good spot along the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
When they can take a kid like Jay, who's still a little rough around the edges, and I mean he's a total butt kicker between the white lines when he plays consistent. But he's got to learn to play more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to learn to play with better pad leverage.
Mm-hmm.
His bend's got to be a little bit better. Can he do all those things? Yeah. And when he's focused, he is really, really, really good. And the more people I talk to, the more people say, when it truly clicks for him on a consistent basis, watch out.
Tennessee is also kind of sitting back and in the top two for another offensive lineman who's over 6'5", 300 pounds, and William Parker. And Tennessee is in the top two for Marius Mims, one of the best offensive linemen in the country. And so Tennessee taking all three if they can?
And Tennessee's in the top two for Rod Orr. And yes, they're taking everybody.
Can they take all four?
I think Tennessee's taking everybody, and they'll figure it out. Okay. I don't think that they're going to just be like, yeah, we're not going to take you. I think that Tennessee's going to, likely take everyone and figure it out, which is, again, the numbers always work themselves out. And what the recruiting class looks like in August or the first day of September, and what it looks like come early December are always two different things. You can go back, even it wasn't. This is not a Jeremy Pruitt thing. This is a most coaches in the nation thing. I mean, that's what happens. You're naturally going to have some attrition one way or the other, and then you're going to naturally fall in love. I mean, was Tennessee even involved with Malachi Weidman and Morven Joseph at this point a year ago? I mean, they were recruiting them, but they weren't truly involved with them. And then, Tennessee does a really good job. They come on strong, and they land both kids. So that's inevitably going to happen with kids in this class as well. So, yeah, Tennessee, would love to have William Parker. He's set to do something on Friday. And then, Rod Orr, big lineman from Alabama. And then, of course, everybody's taking the franchise, Marius Mims, whenever he does something whether it's, on his birthday, October 14th, or he pushes it back again. I still think he does something October 14th, though.
Let me ask you this about Amarius Mims, Austin, because he's a no-doubt take for Tennessee, but a listener brought up this point. Is he a take at Alabama based off of what Alabama has already brought in, that being the number one offensive tackle and the number 3 offensive tackle?
I don't think Alabama's in the top 3, though. If you're asking me to name Amarius Mims top 3, it'd be Georgia, Tennessee, and Auburn. Alabama has waited around on Amarius Mims, and I think probably to the detriment of how they've recruited William Parker. So, he's definitely. Amarius Mims is a take anywhere, in this country. Nobody would turn him down, and Alabama would sure take him if he wanted to come. But I just don't think they're in the top 3 at this point.
Austin Price here in the Swain event. Austin Price, VolQuest.com at Austin Priceless. Had a opt out in D'Angelo Gibbs that was announced by Jeremy Pruitt, and we discussed. Listen, around the country, you're seeing opt-outs here and there. Will it hit Knoxville? Will it hit Tennessee? And it has so far. Do you feel like there can possibly be more potential opt-outs?
Yeah, and I think across the country you've seen kids. There's plenty of kids at different SEC schools, different Big 12 schools, different ACC schools that have went back and forth. That have been like, I don't know, I'm probably not going to play, and then then they come back around to playing, and they go back to not wanting to play, and then they come back around to playing. And it's kind of a daily, back and forth. I think there are other players on Tennessee's team that have at least examined it and thought about it. Now, does that mean they pulled the trigger to this point? No. But, I think it's something that, there's been a few kids that, have been affected by. D'Angelo had been affected by COVID. His family had been touched by it and he had lost somebody, and that's hard. It's something that really bothered him. I think he really struggled when Tennessee came back to campus and they had voluntary workouts, and those are not mandatory. And so I think he struggled with, I don't have to go to this because, I'm worried about the virus, and so. For D'Angelo, you just hope everything turns out okay for the kid. Will he be back? We'll see. Jeremy Pruitt is one that does not give up on kids, very easily, and I don't think he'll give up on D'Angelo as long as D'Angelo wants to put the work in to come back. But at the same time, Tennessee's got to move on without him, and D'Angelo's right now an afterthought when it comes to the season because they've got to get some of these younger wide receivers ready. D'Angelo has chosen to go a different path, and everybody respects that, and most of all, Jeremy Pruitt respects that. I think there are other players on this team that are, that have at least thought about it. Now, they've not pulled the trigger to this point, and I'm just interested to see, in the NFL, there was a hard and fast date that you had to opt out by. There's not really that hard and fast date in college. So, if you get 2 games in and you're not getting as much playing time as you'd hoped. What kids across the country go, I'm going to opt out, and cite COVID, or if you are, and right now with the fact that it doesn't really affect your eligibility, I'm not sure what you get out of that outside of, that's going to be your excuse when you transfer. And then otherwise, I think that this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out with guys that are potential draft picks, Jason. If you're a first or second or third round pick and you're going to get drafted and your team loses a couple of games early, are you going to continue to still go out there and play when there's that risk of things that could happen in a year that's really kind of a wash year?
You, Austin, you've been breaking news and reporting on things, man, for a long time, Tennessee, and you've been spot on a lot of it. And, most of it. And how do you feel about, and I'm asking for me, because, personally, I just didn't feel comfortable with speculating on a young man or 2 or 3 or 4, whoever, or however, how many ever, I didn't feel comfortable speculating on this platform about a young man deciding whether to play or not. Maybe.
Oh, me neither. I mean,
yeah, I just want to make sure it just wasn't me.
No, I mean,
Okay.
like, it was speculated out there that D'Angelo Gibbs was running with the ones a week or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just said on our board, D'Angelo Gibbs is not a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And, and the reactions to that were like, what? Oh, what do you mean he's not a factor? And, and then, of course, after, Coach Pruitt announced it, everybody goes, well, that's what he meant, he wasn't a factor. And, I mean, same thing, because at the end of the day, D'Angelo had went back and forth. It's not like he was just not doing anything. He had went back and forth on what to do. And a lot of these kids have. You saw the kid at Vanderbilt. He opted out, then he opted back in. And so you don't want to say, especially before a kid does it officially, you don't want to say, yeah, I think he's opting out. And then, next thing you know, the kid's out there practicing, and then you just look like, you look silly. So I think with these type of things, you just kind of lay back. And, I mean, if this is the kids' announcement, it's kind of like the way I view recruiting, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
I can say, Tennessee's trending for a kid or Tennessee's searched for a kid. But I'm never going to say, hey, Tennessee's getting this kid, because I feel like that's their decision to announce. I feel like that's they answer the phone call for 2 years and deal with all the phone calls from coaches, media, and this and that. And the least we can do is let them have their moment to announce and not ruin it with predictions and crystal balls and forecasts and those type of things. That's Austin's rule. That's nobody else's rule, just mine. And, I feel like the same thing here is like, I think this is, whoever's, role, it's their role, it's their news to put out that, they've decided not to play if they choose to go that route.
Austin, what do you make of Terrence Lewis transferring to a third high school this summer? Is that an eyebrow raiser, or is it just meh?
It's meh. For me, it is. I mean, it's not going to change Terrence as the player. I get it. For some, it probably is an eyebrow raiser, but not everybody understands the logistics behind the move or the decisions behind the move, and that's something that in time I'm sure Terrence will talk about. But right now, he's just focused on senior year.
Austin Price here on the Swain event. Who are some guys that you feel like have stood out in the first couple of days of camp? It's one thing to be a superhero in shorts and helmets, but what about when you got the pads on and you've had a couple practices and you're a little sore and you're hitting a little bit more? Then you're really able to tell who can be counted on this fall. Who are some of those guys that maybe you've heard of?
Well, I'll tell you a guy that I think's really come on in recent days, especially once they put the pads on, and we talked about him a second ago briefly, is Morven Joseph. Done a really nice job, and really, as one person told me, when he lays a hit, it, and that's a good sign at the linebacker position. He's not going to play this year, but I think they really like what R.J. Perry has done since he moved from defensive line to offensive line. Obviously, we talked about the wide receivers; those guys continue to make plays. And then. On the defensive side, besides Joseph, I continue to hear really good things about Danico Slaughter and Keyshawn Lawrence. So, and then one other I've heard that has really, again, I think he might play this year in a tight end role, like as a extra blocker, is Cooper Mays. But that's also a good sign for him to potentially take over at center moving forward after this year.
What position does Tennessee have R.J. Perry playing along the offensive line? And then to you, what is the most intriguing position battle right now going on in fall camp?
Offensive tackle is what they have him playing. Position battle, probably, who's going to start at safety? Is it McCullough and Flowers? Does Theo Jackson have something? Does somebody else, whether it be Key Lawrence or somebody else, give them something at safety? They're locked in tight end's kind of just a flip the coin type of thing. I mean, yeah, Tennessee led the league in 2 tight end sets a year ago, but they don't throw to the tight end a lot. So that's who's out there doesn't really matter. Quarterback set. Running back, to me, it's a 2-horse race, and those guys will split a lot of carries. That's probably the most worrisome position I think Tennessee has, just because you're a turned ankle away from being in a really weird spot at tailback.
Mm-hmm.
And so who becomes that kind of emergency guy? And I don't mean like, one of the freshmen stepping in. I mean, who's the emergency type of guy that, has to move over there? I think, is it Bayless Jones? I mean, that's probably who I would, find a niche for him at tailback and turn it and hand it to him, if Tennessee goes that route.
Austin Price here on the Swain event. Anything on K. Mays from a week ago?
It'll much like a year ago when we sat around and waited on Aubrey Solomon, this kind of happened on a random day. I mean, it's not like it's going to – whenever it happens, especially if it's he's good to go, that thing will get taken to Twitter so fast by the ball football account. It will not be it will not be something that they hold on to for several days. That thing will get released by Tennessee.
Understand 100%, man. That would be that would change the dynamics of this offensive line quick, fast, and in a hurry. I think that's pretty much it, Austin, man. I don't have anything else, man, that I think of off the top of my head that I can ask you, man. I think we covered the recruits, the commitment, kind of some team notes from things that you've heard. I got about 20 minutes left in the show, and I'll share a couple guys that I think that I've heard that are standing out. And man, I appreciate your time, my friend.
Jason, it was a bizarre interview to start, but you rebounded nicely.
I don't think it was bizarre. I don't think it was bizarre at all. We talked about it before you came on. Commitment and how you continue to pursue a person after they are committed, and it's different.
Well,
in
yeah,
football
just like
world.
Auburn's going to continue to pursue Rock Taylor and
Dylan
Brooks and Cody Brown. I mean, they're not going away. I mean, Tennessee's going to have to hold on to those kids. For the same reason that Auburn was trying to hold on to Jay.
Yeah, like the perception of respect when it comes to commitment in football is totally different than the perception of respect outside of SEC football. So that's what we were talking about. But it's all good, Austin, man. I mean make you feel all weird. We want you as comfortable as possible here on the Swain event, man. We want you to take your shoes off, kick your feet up, man, relax, chill out. The last thing we want, Austin, is for you to be uncomfortable, man. We don't want that. So I apologize.
I don't think I could be any more comfortable on a radio show to the point that I've taken over your show and taken this to the top of the hour and sent it out in style a few times.
That's probably a good point.
I'll always close it out for you, Jason, but I'll never be there when you start because I ain't waking up that.
Yeah, I know that's right. No, you ain't ready to wake up when I wake up, my friend.
Actually, I am up that early. I'm just, combing hair and, getting the girls breakfast and all those things before we send them out the door on the way to school.
Austin, you were not up as early as Swain this morning. I can promise you that.
Yeah, man. You probably was in like stage 1 of your dream when I got up. But, man, you work your tail off, my friend, providing the good people the news and notes and giving folks what they want, which is inside information and recruiting nuggets and, commitment videos. It's amazing how you just magically have those. Man, you like a magician or something, man. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, man. You should go into. You should be a magician. You should be like David Blaine or something, man. Like it's. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it, Austin. You got special talent, my friend.
Now you see it. Now you don't.
Can't explain it, Austin. All right, man. I appreciate the time, man. VolQuest.com is the website. Get your butt over there to VolQuest. Get all that good Tennessee information, recruiting, team, basketball, everything you need there at VolQuest.com. Austin Price, until next time, my friend.
See you, Jason.
See you. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, brings us Austin Price here on the Swain event. Buy, sell, or invest in real estate, give Jennifer Morris a call. Again, 865-257-7897. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty. I didn't mean to weird Austin out. He was all uncomfortable at the beginning. He just didn't get it. It's all good. That's my fault. Golly. I hope we still be friends. Maybe I should call him after the show. And just check in on him. Make sure he's okay. Make sure he's not traumatized.
Also, let him know that you were up at 3:30, so he doesn't think that we're trying to take away from his shine.
No, I want him to think that he gets up early. I want him to think that. Let's take a break. Come back. Got a couple guys that are making some plays, man, standing out, and we'll talk about those players coming back.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm going to tell you a quick story about a listing appointment I had recently. I walked in the door of this beautiful home, and my eyes didn't immediately notice the nice hardwood floors, the beautiful fireplace, or the large kitchen. Nope, what my eyes noticed was the large amount of Michael Jackson memorabilia in almost every room. While I appreciate MJ, the sellers needed my assistance in looking at the home through buyer's eyes. Whether it's MJ or some Vandy memorabilia decorating your walls, I'll guide you through the process to get your home ready to sell. Call me, Jennifer Morris, at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work-from-anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Home service problems occur, even at the most inconvenient times, like during a health crisis. And Hiller is always here to help you 24/7. As people are social distancing and staying at home on workdays, it's an easier time to take care of home maintenance items that you feel are necessary. And we've put new safety precautions in place, like wearing gloves, avoiding physical contact, new sanitation protocols, and limiting time in your home. We're here for you.
Call the Happy Face truck today. When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
At Hiller, we care about your family's comfort all year long. If you get caught without air conditioning this summer, we're offering a free service call with any repair. That's a free service call when we do the work on your HVAC system. Visit happyhiller.com to schedule your appointment today.
Call the Happy Face truck today.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, T. Kell, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. T. Kell and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suit your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
And you know this, man.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Hour 3, powered by Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Reinventing men's healthcare. I felt like Jason Kidd, John Stockton, Steve Nash, Chris Paul. Like, I felt like one of the best point guards ever with the layup I just gave Austin Price. I mean, just a layup. Just a layup.
You kicked it to him in the corner, wide open for three, and then he went all Andrew Harrison on us.
Not even a three, Austin. I mean, not Austin, but Ben. I'm talking about a layup. I mean, I gave him a good screen. I mean, like the football players that play basketball on college football teams and all they do is screen, or football players that play on basketball teams in high school and you're there to screen. Don't shoot or dribble. You on the team because you big and physical. I gave Austin the best ball screen ever. Wide open layup. Ball goes over the backboard. Come on, man. I said, Austin, when you got married, you had to disappoint a lot of ladies. Tell them no. Beat them off with a stick. All he had to say was, yep, sure did. And he could have used that for brownie points today with his wife. That's all he had to do. I set him up. I set him up to get brownie points this week. Maybe not have to do a honeydew chore. Maybe you get a steak. Maybe you get a steak on the grill or something, man. I mean, goodness gracious. Maybe you get a free moment to watch sports without kids bothering you. Like, I set him up, man. I set him up.
It was like Lamonte or Santiago passing it to Urosh in the post last year.
Don't get all awkward on me now.
7 foot. 7 feet tall.
Don't get awkward on me.
Stick your hand up.
Golly, man. Don't get awkward on me. So, man, guys that are really doing a good job right now in fall camp, and again, games are a couple of weeks away, but this is important. Taking a look at defense aside of football, we know who's the best cover corner on this football team. We know that.
B. Rice.
Listen, it's not a debate. This is a guy that's gonna have a chance to make a decision. Like, when you talk about guys that have an incentive to play football this season, outside of just wanting to play for love of the game or whatever you want to make up to make yourself feel all warm and fuzzy inside, cool, whatever. But outside of that warm and fuzzy reason, Bryce Thompson has every reason to play this season because he could make a decision at the end with a good season this year. He's that good. And so, of course, he's standing out because this is money year. This is like Cam Sutton, his junior season. When I saw him preparing, when I saw him running after practice, when I saw him, go about his business of practice, he was on a mission. Like, he was on a mission to put himself in a position to possibly leave if the opportunity is right. You don't start preparing to leave early at the end of the season. That process starts winter workouts. That process starts at the end of your last game as a sophomore, and you've had 2 really good seasons. And you can just tell the way he went about his business that that's something that was on his mind. So Bryce Thompson's doing his thing for sure. We've heard things about Trayvon Flowers, but just want to kind of just reinforce that right now he's going to be one of the 2 safeties. And he was a guy that was making plays the moment he stepped on campus, had some unfortunate injuries that I think hindered his development, his ability to compete. But he's a ball hawk. He's a playmaker. He was that day one, and now he has an understanding of the defense, and he's going to play with confidence. He's going to move faster, be able to sniff out plays a lot faster, analyze formations and splits, and pick up on trends and things like that faster. So he's ready to go. It's just his first time being in this role as a starter potentially because Nigel Warrior's not here. So he's going to be one of the safeties. And we're not surprised about him, but one name that we haven't really touched on a lot, and it is one of the positions that we have some concern with because of the departure of Darrell Taylor, but Latrell Bumpus, senior. So when I heard about Bumpus and I put two together, senior, makes perfect sense. We call that senior sense of urgency.
Yeah, and he's also very young for a senior, if I remember correctly. I don't believe he's turned 21 yet. I believe we talked about this last week.
We did.
I think he turns 21 this month, as a matter of fact. So he's a youngin, finally coming into his body, and now he'll get 2 senior years if he elects to return next year. Senior year part 1, senior year part 2.
Man, if I'm him, that's a perfect setup. It ain't perfect for everybody.
Perfect for him.
But it's perfect for him. Mm-hmm. It's a perfect setup for him.
Especially with his age.
Yes, absolutely. Perfect setup for him. So, those are the guys standing out. And then who you think would be the other one, Ben? If I had to ask you, okay, which other player on defense standing out to you, who would you probably pick?
Henry To'o.
Henry To'o. Hank T. I mean, are you surprised?
Is he going to be the second best player on the football team this year?
Ooh, that's a tough question, Ben. Why do you do this? It is 9:54. Oh, man. You getting good at this radio stuff, Ben. Put a cliffhanger out there for him. They got to tune in tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm. Got to tune in to see if Jeremy Pruitt says anything of note this evening.
Man. Second best football player. Whew.
Who would be in the running? Bryce Thompson, Cade Mays, Palmer, and Henry. That
you said Bryce already, didn't you? You said Bryce first. Did you not say Bryce Thompson
Yes, I did say Bryce.
Yeah,
Bryce Thompson.
I thought you did.
Josh Palmer, Cade Mays.
I think we can do process of elimination. I think Josh Palmer will be out.
I would too.
So then we're talking about Cade Mays and Bryce and
I'll say Henry will have a better year than Bryce based off of the responsibilities of Henry To'o and the fact that he is going to have to do more than Bryce Thompson.
That's not the answer to the question though. How you gonna change your own damn question, Ben?
I still think Henry To'o is going to be better than Bryce.
How you gonna ask me a question and then change it?
I didn't change
while
it.
Answering it
I did
yourself.
Not change it. I did not change it. I did not change it.
Yes, you did. You said second best football player. Second best football player is different than somebody having the best season.
That's true. That is true. But
that's why
if I thought Bryce Thompson was going to have a better season, then I would think that he would be the second best player.
Because
we're talking about people who are in contention for the second best player.
That's not the same. 1 year of better results does not make you a better football player.
This is true. But based off of performance this season, our opinions are going to change on people.
That's tough, man. It's really tough because, like, I can have big stats as a wide receiver. That don't mean I'm a better football player than another guy.
That's true.
You know, I can have a good season, but that don't mean I'm a better football player than the other guy. That's why this question is very, very tough. And so there's no doubt Trey Smith is the best football player in this team, and I'm not even accounting for what scouts are saying about Cade Mays, because Cade Mays is older. He's older. No, actually, same age as Bryce Thompson. They'll both be entering the junior season, right?
Yes.
So he's older than Henry T. Oh man, yo, I gotta think about this. I mean, I think it might take me about 21 hours to find the answer.
When you wake up at 3:30 tomorrow morning.
Yeah, 21 hours. It'll take me 21 hours to figure out. This is Swain. We hope you have a great day. Peace and love. We are out. Swain event.